I'm your chef, Aaron Goldstein. Today we are talking about butternut squash. Quickly, I'm going to show you how to clean it and cut it, okay? So let's get to it. So butternut squash, this is kind of a funky one because it's kind of rounded in both ways, but we're going to just attack it. And I'll show you how to do it. So I like to have a nice wide vessel to kind of catch because it's a big thing to clean. And what you're going to do is just get your favorite peeler. I really like these little guys, these coons. They're awesome. They're inexpensive, but they do a great job. So I like to get close to the top, and then you're just going to pull towards yourself. And I like that this is kind of a difficult one to work with, just to show you how if you're just kind of deliberate, right, by pulling towards yourself, I kind of use my right thumb, or if you're lefty, it'll be your left, to kind of guide. And, you know, it's kind of a tough skin on butternut, but if you notice, if you just kind of get a rhythm, starting at the top and trying to finish off and go all the way down to the bottom, so clean up later is easier. I'll show you that in a second. Then you're looking good. And I know it's very popular in stores to buy pre-cut up things or already peeled things, but I gotta tell you, the quality is never as good. Who knows how long that stuff's been cut, right? You want to have control over it in your own kitchen as much as you can. That literally took, what, less than a minute out of your life? It's not that bad, okay? It's actually great. So, then you can kind of go back and find any little scraps you may have missed. There are a couple. And now it's nice and peeled. Okay? So, then we're going to go ahead and cut it. And so, it looks like this is tough because usually the rounded part is the base, but I can tell this is where the stem, I think, was. So this is the part where it's all flesh, and this is where the seed pocket is, I hope. So what you want to do in the rounded part is kind of find where it starts to rise and come a little bit closer because the seed pocket is a little further in. And you want to get your knife and just go straight down, okay? And if you notice, I guessed a little bit up, and that's fine. We're going to show you what to do. So this is your seed pocket in the rounded part. And what we're going to do is bring this back. And I like to get a spoon that is a little sharper here. It just kind of helps get in there and kind of clean that kind of hairiness inside a squash. And just get in there with the seeds. And you can save these seeds and dehydrate them and then roast them. And we can talk about that in another lesson. But that's it. You don't have to go crazy trying to get too much. It's fine as long as you get the seeds out. And there was a little left over in this part. I'm going to do the same. This is a big seed pocket. This squash. They're always different. Okay? So now, I'm going to show you what I would have done usually is I'm going to clean back up. Wow, it's a big one. Alright? So what I like to separate that part and this part. So we could have done this before too, but you want to just kind of take off the dried out end. Alright? You can do that on both sides. Try not to waste too much, remember, right? So this is the one that it's much easier to be consistent and get nice cuts. So let's just say you're cooking professionally and you want a nice dice that you want consistency with. What I like to do is just kind of square it off. And we talk about this with different things like a carrot, if you're trying to get a nice dice. So then you get something more resembling a rectangle that's much easier to get consistent cuts with. So this part, let's just say maybe you're doing that roasted and this part gets pureed or goes into a soup. Doesn't matter how kind of uniform those cuts are, right? So all that can go to your soup. And then this part, and let's just say we're doing like a medium dice. Be nice and deliberate. And let's just cut this one in fours, okay? Okay, and then you always find that butternut gets a little sticky when you're cutting it. So just take your time. Alright, and you can get nice kind of big batons like that, and then line them up carefully and cut. Okay? So that's where, you know, you get some more consistency. In this case, I'm just using all this for soup, so it's not going to matter so much. But I wanted to share that with you because it's great to think about, you know, one veggie and how you can apply it in a couple different ways in the same week of cooking. All right? So I'm going to finish this off and just show you how rustically it is or can be to just cut through your squash. You notice You know, squash is kind of a hard thing, so you really want to be deliberate with the cuts, okay? Like that, and again, this is a little bit awkward, so find your flat surface. You don't have to do too much at once, and just get, you know, random cuts like that. Don't worry about consistency. This is getting pureed, okay? And that's it. Might as well finish, just so we can get a sense of how long this takes quickly, okay? You notice I'm not worrying about being that consistent. Now, one thing you do want to consider is you don't want huge pieces and tiny pieces at the same time, because you don't want different cooking times when you go and apply this to a soup, for example, okay? Because a big chunk is going to take way longer to cook than a really small piece. Same would apply if you're making mashed potatoes or something, okay? And look how much squash this ends up being in the end, okay? Now, one thing I do want to mention about the importance of buying the whole squash, you know, very often you'll find butternuts or other squashes priced per pound at around $1, $1.50, $2. And then when you go and buy it cut, it's upwards of $2, $3, or even $4, all right? So you're saving a lot of money by taking it home and cleaning it yourself. And this is really important, all right? So look how much squash you end up with. This bowl is heaping. This is a lot of food, okay? So that's it. There are going to be other videos that you can check out on how to apply this, including the one for soup that's right next to this one. So that's it. Cleaning butternut squash. I hope this helped you work out some kinks, and we'll see you soon.